Hello and welcome to this beautiful sunny Saturday. I have been in my front garden, as you can see, and I've done a lot of work in my front garden. No filming out there today. You know, when you get those days where you just really need to get stuff done without any interruptions. Not only that, at the weekends there's a lot more dog walkers, a lot more people that stop and chat, and it just takes up so much of my time having to keep stop and start the videos to chat to people and bits and pieces like that. Although it was rather quiet today for a Saturday, which must be because it's cold. Got my prunabos out, well chuffed on my prunabos. Did some really good strong work on my tree. Took off any branches that were connecting and rubbing, so that way the branches aren't going to be harmed. And the trunk of the tree was too far into the ground, so it wasn't originally when I popped it in there, which I put that in there, gosh, about 2.5, 3 years ago now. And the tree is actually, how long have I been married? 15 years I've been married. So the tree's 15 years old, but it's a dwarf tree, apple tree, but it doesn't look 15 years old. I think where I've always had it in pots where I've moved around. Yeah, it's a really special tree for me, and it went in and originally it was fine. The graft was outside of the soil, but as the years have gone on, because my front garden is stony, the stones have just gone over and over and over, and probably 3 to 4 inches high above where it should be. So I've now cleared all that out. I've cut all around the tarp that was down there, which I didn't put down. They're really thick industrial tarp. That was hard to do. I pulled all the stones out, all of the mud, so the actual bottom part of the tree is out now. And one of the plant rings that I use for my cabbages and kale and things like that, I just put a slit in it, popped it round, so it's got a collar now, and I've put stones up around it to hold that collar in place. And there is an inch now all the way around that stump for air, rain, and any feed that I need to put in. Now I know it's going to go directly to that tree, so it will need a bit looking after. So I need to find out what is the best fertilizer to use for the, I can hear somebody, for the apple blossom tree. Oh, cup of tea. Thank you very much.
No worries.
So yeah, so that is done. That's taken quite a while. I've also added chip-ins to the 2 front beds again, which I will show you. And I've actually got a geranium out there that is thriving, so I put some chip-ins around that just to protect the soil around it. And I think because it's underneath one of the bushes that I've got out there, it's one of the ones that only flowers once a year. What is it called? The name will come back, it will come to me. So it's under there, so that is protecting it from the frost, I think. So I might even have a geranium from last year this year, so that will be really cool. That's one less. I do love a geranium. It's not so much to look at them, I love the smell of them. They smell really earthy and I love that. Oh, this is well needed. I've been outside for 2 hours now. That's why I just popped into the greenhouse quick, because I finished and I thought I'll warm up a little bit in here before I get moving on the next thing. So yeah, so I've got a lot of odd jobs to do today. And I've got a massive bag full of Christmas outdoor decorations that I've got to sort through, because I've got yet another tip run to do tomorrow. That's all you ever hear me say on these vlogs, is I've got a tip run. But I think it's really important to book plenty of tip runs so you don't have that build up in your garden of stuff, because that's never ever good. Because time is ticking, you know, we're talking second week of January already. And although I started sowing seeds indoors because it's much too cold in the greenhouse, I mean, it was minus, I think the lowest I've seen it is -5 in the greenhouse, which isn't too bad because it has been -6 and 7 outside. Note to self, I think an insulated heated greenhouse is the way forward for this year. So that is something I need to have a look at to see what the expense is going to be. Because although it doesn't really bother me having the seeds indoors, it really doesn't bother me. I think it bothers everybody else that I've got them in my front window of my front room. Okay, so yeah, so I think if I'm using heat mats and things like that, why am I not just heating my greenhouse? So then maybe I don't need to use heat mats other than for my chilies. Right, let's get cracking on this garden. Hopefully you can see me okay. So this chrysanthemum, it's been sat in water since it died off, but it's not very good. I'll just wait for it to stop dripping so I can show you. Yeah, like there's a slug in there. So that is what the root looks like. And it's starting to get a little bit smelly, so I need to take it out of the bucket of water, and I'm just going to whack it in a pot for now. So let's get that done. I want to keep it in the greenhouse for now because that's where it's been acclimatized to, although this is freezing to hold. Let's get rid of that horrible mushy water. So I have this pot here. Might be a bit of a tight squeeze, but I think I can get it in there. So I'm going to put a little bit of compost in the bottom, then I'm going to pop it straight in. So I've got my compost. And because it isn't doing very well, I'm just going to add 1 handful of chicken pellets. Fits in there perfect. I'm just going to put some compost around the edges. So that is done now. I haven't compacted it down because it will do all of that itself. Much happier with this. Next job. Let's have a look. So the next job is definitely going to be a sit down job. So I'm going to clear my step and then start potting up the cabbages. Have I got water in here? I have. Okay. Woo! Okay, I'm on the chair. Right, so I need, right now, a hurry knife would be great. I don't have one of those. What could I use instead? Okay, let me just grab my trowel for now, and I just knocked you over. I'm aware of that. Oh no, I had you perfect then. Just knocked you flying. Okay, so I'm going to water the pots first. As you all know, I like to water the pots first before I start putting anything in there. So let's have a quick water. I lay them there, and I've got something really cool to show you as well that I only realised this morning. I haven't been coming into the greenhouse too much, so that's rainwater. I'll always try and keep rainwater in here, so in the winter, in the autumn, I'll only have that can halfway up, so that way it's refreshing it constantly as opposed to letting it sit and then start to smell. So that is those pots done. Now I know I've got all my dabbers, no, my dibbers are all in the house. So I'm just going to get one of these, and I'm going to make a hole in every single pot in the middle. Okay, so that is the holes all in the middle. Let's pull up these cabbages. So these cabbages have been in here, gosh, where are we? December, November. I sowed them in November, beginning, maybe end of October even. These trugs were empty here, these really big thick trugs. I will pop a photo in right now of the trugs. So I thought, let's just throw some seeds in there and see what happens. And quite a lot, 3 out of the 4 things I put in here have germinated. And that's great because it's freezing cold in here. I mean, it's 16 degrees, but it does not feel 16 degrees in here. I think because I've got the door behind me. So I am going to pick my best ones. So let's have a look so you can see. I will show you each one. So I'm going to pull it out like this and then have a look at it on the top. So my best ones. So I will put them in their provisional place and then swap them out. So that is them there. Oh, I've got some nice ones here. Starting to get their second set of leaves now, which is just what you want to then pop them on. So that's a good one. So that's a very good one. You can see the second set of leaves, which is just what you want. Okay, so I've already made the hole, so I'm just going to push it down into the hole and press around the edge of that. And because they are in here where it's quite moist, although these now will go into the greenhouse in the greenhouse, I am going to vermiculite the top of these because it does get quite moist in here, and it doesn't matter how many times a day I open this door behind me. I mean, it's 87% humidity now. I mean, that's probably the lowest it goes in this weather. So right, one done. So that's 9 cabbages. I will double check with my daughter actually to see if she wants to grow any. Let me shout her. Shannon,
Yeah.
would you like me to pot up any of my cabbage seedlings so you can grow cabbages?
Oh, that'd be good.
How many would you like? How many cabbages would you like to grow?
4.
4 cabbages. I can't tell you what type of cabbage it is because it's worn out.
I like all the cabbages anyway.
You like all
probably
cabbages?
these.
Do you want how many? Oh, excellent. If you pop it down there, I'll feed the birds in a minute.
Do you also want a fruit salad? Because I'm
Oh.
doing it lunch now.
I would love a fruit salad, Shannon. So how many do you want? So this is how small they are to start off with. So I can do you 6, or is that too many? If 6 is too many, that's fine. Do you want me to do you 3 cabbage and 3 kale?
Yeah, that's good.
3 cabbage and 3, because I've got to pot up the kale because it's really shooting up now. You're moaning it's cold. You try sitting here. Yes, look, it says it's 16, but it's not when you got this freezing cold air. If the door was shut, it'd be lovely in here, but I need to get some air flowing in here. So I think if I can get it down to 82%, I might shut the door. It's cold, isn't it?
Isn't it, bro? When you're not in the sun, you can really feel it. When you're in the sun, it's not too bad.
100%. Right, I will pop you up some.
Yeah.
So I'll do 3 kale and 3 cabbage for you.
Yes.
You can return the favour by making me plenty of tea. Okay, so that's my ones done there. So the excess water now, I'm just going to drain out because I don't need that excess water because they are wet enough. Because all that will happen is they will go damp. Okay. So these containers here, I'm very good for keeping plastic containers at home. So this is a reusable one. This actually I used for makeup. It's acrylic. They're really good just for when you're doing your seedlings. I really find that I struggle with trays all different sizes because sometimes you don't want the big tray. Sometimes like this is a perfect size for cabbages. Because I shouldn't have to pot these on now. Probably about 5 weeks, 5 maybe even 6 weeks before these will need potting on, depending on how well they grow in their mini greenhouse in the greenhouse. But yeah, so I'm really pleased that I've got an early start. And not only that, is last year I was buying all of my cabbages from starts, from plugs. So I don't have to do that now this year. I will be growing all my own cabbages from seed. So that's great. So I am pleased because that's one less expense. So it's £10 I normally spend to £15 on getting my starts for broccoli, cabbage and kale. And now I'm going to grow it all myself. So that's some brassicas. The cauliflowers I'm still struggling with a little bit. I've got some that I've sown, but if they don't work, I will just buy plugs for cauliflowers and only, well, successfully grow cauliflowers early on in the year. But later on in the year, I will do some more, but I don't hold out much hope because of the aphids. Bloody aphids. So again, I have the same pots. I already had the compost in there. What I try to do is, it can be a really big job sometimes, finding your pots, then getting the soil mixed together, then popping it all in, and then finding what you're going to put in there, what you're going to sow. And that process itself can take a little bit of time. So what I tend to do is get a big trug, stick a whole load of potting mix in. Obviously everyone has their own variation of what they like to use, and then I already get some and I fill them up, and I actually put them in the trug itself. That way, when I suddenly, which happens a lot, decide, oh, I'm going to sow this, or oh, I got these that are suddenly ready and I wasn't prepared for it. If I haven't got a lot of time, it's much easier to have these pre-prepared, so I'm not then doing this to then doing that process, and then I can literally just sit here, grab them, and I'm ready to go. So I will water again. Not too much. The compost tends to stay quite damp anyway. Well, that one hasn't got a lot, so let's move the water into this one. Just want to make sure the bottom is a little bit wet so it can draw water up from the bottom. Okay, so let's see if now I can empty out some rainwater without spilling all my pots. Okay, so again, I pick up all these types of containers from garden centre and shops. If I see any empty on the shelves, I just pick them up. Nobody ever stops me and it's like, oh, you can't take that. And if they could, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's fine. I thought, how cool, this is bright red. I don't know if you can see it in the light. And I was like, yes, that will do me, because all of the bottom bits connect. So when you water one part, it naturally flows through to the others, which is fantastic, especially if you're working with a limited space like I am, and I can't always pull everything out to water, which is a nightmare. So this is a great way of using these. So 3 cabbage, let's find some more cabbages. Okay, so that's a good one. Where did I put my little stick? Now on to the curly kale. So the curly kale is doing fab. Everyone knows it's my favourite. So let's have a read, because I like to put as much information as possible on there. So I've got curly kale, July the 7th. That is when I sowed these seeds. Also, maybe the cabbages would have been a lot earlier than that then. So I sowed the cabbages the same time as the kale. So I was way off there. I didn't put the type on there. So I'm assuming it's just your standard curly kales. Wow, July the 7th. And like that, it's January and they're ready to be potted up now. That's a long time, isn't it? That's crazy. It makes you wonder, like, how early in the summer am I going to have to plant all my brassicas ready for winter cropping? Need to have a look at that one. So I'm going to do the same again. I'm just going to grab my trowel and just lift some out of the ground. Now I know some of these are much bigger than other ones. So let's see if I can get a clump up for you. So look at that for some curly kale. I'm chuffed. So I only noticed this morning. So I'm pretty sure when I looked at these last week, they looked a bit like the cabbages, not really doing much. So I'm going to save the good ones for me. Now I haven't got any pots ready for these ones, so I'm going to just put mine to one side, just plant up my daughter's ones. So 2 nice big ones just there. I'll pop them up there. So they look completely different, so I haven't got to worry about plant labels for these, because you cannot, there's no way you'll not be able to know what a cabbage looks like or a kale, so a curly kale. So I don't need to plant label these ones. These are the pots that I am working with. These are the trugs. Got that one there, that's now empty. This one here, oh yeah, gardening in my slippers. That is where the kale was, and that there is chamomile. So I need to be able to take that out and pot that on. So once I've done that, both of these trugs can come out, and I can have some of my space back. Oh, look at that. I can kind of get you in. I hope that's okay, everybody. Right, so here is the titchiest, tiniest chamomile. Now, you've heard me banging on about how I want to start drinking my own tea. So this is the start of me being able to do so. So I read that it self-seeds really well. So this is probably the only time I'm going to need to grow it, fingers crossed. And in all honesty, I don't even like chamomile tea. But because I'm growing it myself, I will force myself to like it. I am back from lunch. Oh my gosh, it's freezing. I'm not even kidding you. I'm going to do what I can, but I'm not going to allow myself to get so cold I can't warm up again. So that happened at the plot when I was last at the plot. I got so cold. It took me hours to warm up. I was under my electric blanket and everything. Okay, my microphone's dead. I've gone to put it in. One of it isn't, the other one's dead. I'm just going to quickly vermiculite what I can. So this is my big empty trug. And I've got no potting mix left in it, and obviously I'm going to need potting mix. I'm doing all my potting up at the moment in the house because it's just so cold here. I'm sorry, all my seed sowing, not my potting up. You've just seen me doing potting up. Got potting up in the brain. When I need to top up my tray that I'm leaving in the living room, I can just take pots from here. So I'm going to top that up. How I'm going to do that? Woo! Nearly went arse over tit. So one of the trugs, which I said is great soil, I'm going to add this to that. Then I'm going to add some bits through it. So that then gets rid of a bit more for me. Ow, that's a lemon tree up my ass. Whoever it was that I watched on YouTube who said it was a really good idea to get a yuzu lemon. Botanical Gardens. That dude, forgot his name. Yep, watch him all the time, can't remember his name. Yeah, he said, oh, get a yuzu lemon. Yeah, I stab myself in the ass pretty much every time I come in here. So let's get that in. So let's get this in. Not sure if you're going to be able to see me do that. Let's see if I can manoeuvre you. Because that could be a laugh because it's heavy. That could be interesting. Oh, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Wow, that's heavy. Okay. Right, there are stones at the bottom of this trug. I don't want the stones in there because I'm potting up. So, just going to take what's on top and be happy and grateful for that. So, okay. So that's pretty good. That's 1/3 of a pot, which is great because I will add some potting mix to this. I don't think I've got any perlite left. Or I might have some potting grit. Might put some of that in. Okay, so let's pop that over here. So this is my Scotch bonnet that I have been overwintering. But I think I need to take it in. There's nothing showing me it's gonna bud full this year. How moist is it? Not moist. I'm going to add a tiny bit of rainwater. I'm just going to spill vermiculite all in there because I never sealed it properly. Just going to add some vermiculite to the top of this because I'm moving it from somewhere very cold to very warm. So this is a slightly different mix. You probably noticed by the colour of it. But I don't want to open a whole brand new bag of potting soil just for these little containers. And I'm not planning on doing any more potting up for at least another 4 weeks. So it will be a bit pointless me doing that. Okay. So now I'm going to get my plant tag. Okay, look at that for a different view. So when I have this view, I'm not able to wear my microphone, but you can hear me in the greenhouse anyway, so it should be okay. So I'm struggling because the tripod is so big. I'm really struggling with space in here and like for you to see me and what I'm doing. So I just had a look around the garage to see if there's anything in the garage that I could use, and I did find that clip. But it doesn't hold my phone the other way. So it only holds my phone landscape, which is no good. Obviously landscape for filming, but to hold my phone I need it held portrait because of the microphone plugs into the bottom of my phone. So I'm going to go and order one from Amazon because my no spend January didn't go too well. Oh my gosh. So yeah, so I've already spent in January. Not on purpose. I went a whole 7 days, right, without buying anything. It's freezing. It's 4 degrees in here now. So yeah, I went a whole 7 days without buying anything. And since then I have picked up stuff. But it has been stuff that I know I'm going to use as opposed to sometimes you buy stuff for the sake of buying stuff. I haven't done that. So I am going to take that indoors. I'm going to get my son to take that trug out because that, oh, I managed to get dirt in my salad. Take that trug out and that's going to free up so much more space in here. Gosh, it's going to look empty in here. I know it looks really full because I've got stuff either side of me. And I need to put my Pronabos away. Look at those bad boys. Best Christmas present ever. So they are going to stay inside the house just in case we get broken into. Not that I can imagine anyone really knows what Pronabos are. I need to get a light stuck above my head. I have this new light here, but I don't actually know how to put it on. Like I need a light that turns on with a button, kind of like this light. Turns on with a button. So there you go, that's a bit better. Oh, it went back off. Don't go off. Oh, it went off again. Why does it keep going off? Oh, okay, it went off because it's not collected enough solar for it to come on. I need electricity in my greenhouse and then I can have some heat in here as well. Yeah, so I need to get some electricity installed in my garden because I currently haven't got the correct electricity going out to my garage, so I need to get that done this year. And I also need some for the greenhouse so I can have some kind of heater in here in the winter and have a heated greenhouse. Because it's freezing. Nobody told me that a greenhouse gets so cold. I thought, oh, it's an indoors, outdoors. Yeah, it's flipping freezing. So before you buy yourself a greenhouse, do some research, people. Do some research. I'm trying not to go outside and I know I've got to. Right, I'm going to put on my gloves. And after getting you all set up there, I'm going to do some other bits. Or shall I? Or shall I just go in and then do it all tomorrow? Because I am really cold. You know what? I'm going to call it a day for today. I am pretty spent, not going to lie. Because this morning out in that front garden was a lot. I have got a little bit of rubbish I've got to tidy up after myself from today. So I do need to do that. Let's put my phone case that's extremely dirty in my pocket so I don't forget it's up here. Oh, I'll tell you what I have got to do. Most importantly, put the lid on my Sharpie because they dry out like anything. So I will come back out tomorrow. I know I've got to go to the supermarkets today. I'm not cooking dinner today, so that's a good one. So I've got to go to the supermarkets today, and I've got a tip run tomorrow. So I get up early anyway. I'm up. I mean, 6:30 this morning. So I'm proud of myself what I've done today. I'm gonna acknowledge the fact that yes, I didn't get everything done I wanted to get done. However, I'm acknowledging the fact that I have now potted up my brassicas. I have now potted up my flowers that I've been saying I'm going to be doing for probably about 6 to 8 weeks now, and the greenhouse now is a lot more open. and mentally that makes me feel better. When there's space in here, I mentally feel so much better, so that's good. No, I'm good with what I've achieved today. I'm going to lock everything down now, including the cold frame, which is doing really well actually in the garden. That might be something I actually purchase again this year. Yeah, it's done really well. Although it completely freezes, everything inside has done so well. So I've got some beets, I have got some spinach and some lettuce growing in there. So I've just picked up a button from outside. I've got three or four buttons in the garden that I just use for bits of wood that I need. So I need to build a shelf in the house. So I've just taken in one of the smaller buttons because I've only got to do a lining around a wall to put a shelf on, because that needs to dry out. That's soaking. Okay, birds are next. Okay, got a little bit of food there for the birds. Something a little bit different. So I'm just going to pop that in as well. Okay, I am done. I am happy with everything. Oh, Ronaldo's, what for those away. Okay, let's try and get the battery off. So these, I asked for these to help me because of my hands and my arthritis. However, I can never get the battery on and off. I'm a wimp. Right, I'll see you guys in a bit.
So I've just added in a few photos at the end of the extra bits of seed sowing that I've been doing over the last few days. I hope you enjoyed my video. I hope you can come back another time. If you subscribe, you'll get a notification of when I put out my videos, and the next one is a big allotment one.